If you love pickles, then you might be wondering, where do the absolute best pickles come from? Look at you, dying to know the truth. Well, stick with me for a few moments, and you'll see the behind the scenes they don't show to the public. Are you ready? At least those farmers are, because that's the best time of their lives. Yeah, seeing all their efforts become fruitful, they peacefully start their harvesting journey. First of all, let me tell you that the most common varieties of pickle cucumbers are Crepe, Boston pickling, and national pickling cucumbers. Yes, they even have pickling in their names. Machines continuously pour cucumbers onto a large receiving conveyor belt, from where they head to a pre-sorting station to get rid of the dirt or rocks. They don't just grab any cucumbers they find. The ones used for pickles are very specific even within their own kind. They're shorter, crunchier, and have thinner skins than the big salad cucumbers. Farmers choose to harvest cucumbers manually because these delicate fruits need gentle handling. In England, cucumber pickles are a beloved treat, adding flavor to meals and snacks. Millions of jars are cracked open and enjoyed as a snack every year. What else could make that meal even better? A crunchy cucumber pickle on the side. The cucumbers now take a dip into buffer tanks filled with water, floating around, waiting for their turn to hit the wash line without slowing anything down. Also, high-pressure water jets spray them from every angle, removing mud and dirt. The sanitizing dip comes from a shallow tank filled with a mild, food-safe cleaning solution. As cucumbers float through the solution, bacteria and leftover pesticides are removed without soaking too long to keep them fresh. Cucumbers move through a fresh water rinse to wash away any cleaning solution. Factories sometimes reuse clean water here to make the process more eco-friendly, which is a nice bonus. Sparkling clean, cucumbers travel down the conveyor belt. As they have reached the sorting station, now workers are going to check each one for the desired size, top-notch quality, and if they've any defects. Here, jars are being loaded onto the production line. The machine uses robotic plates that gently guide the cucumbers into the bottles. Sometimes, to fit cucumbers tightly, the machine gives the jars a little shake. The magical brewing solution is then poured into the bottles over the cucumbers. It's the key because it allows the cucumbers to soak up all the delicious flavors. Workers usually stand at stations where bottles move toward them on a conveyor belt. They carefully grab the long cucumber slices in small bundles, while on the other hand, robotic machines drop the slices directly into the bottles that fit perfectly every time. After the brine is added, the bottles head toward the sealing machine, where the lids are screwed on tight. The jars are then grouped together so that wrapping buddies can easily wrap them together to make a whole bunch. sliced cucumber pickles make a crunchy and refreshing snack right out of the jar. So, yeah, absolutely, they're perfect for satisfying cravings without the guilt. Cucumbers have a high water content, so they can help keep you hydrated, especially during hot days or after exercise. Also, cucumber pickles are low in calories, making them a great snack option for those looking to enjoy flavor without adding extra calories to their diet. The pickling solution is the basic thing for tasty cucumber pickles. It usually includes vinegar, water, salt, sugar, and a mix of spices. Have you ever thought about why these ingredients matter? Vinegar gives that bitter flavor, while salt helps keep the cucumbers fresh and crunchy. As the cucumbers sit in the brine, they soak up all the yummy flavors from the spices and herbs. My God, how can you tell you're a big Pickles fan if you can't smell this video? That hot yet comforting brine fragrance. Still no? Never mind. What's that fragrance? It seems like something huge is being baked. Just like you guessed, it's the batch of millions of crepes being made in factories. I am one of those freaks who is completely mad about fancy breakfast, and for that reason, I love having crepes loaded with lots of berries and cream in the morning. Undoubtedly, flour is the backbone of any crepe, so this is our first stop. The harvested wheat is transported to storage silos. Now the process is typical. The grains will be cleaned, tempered, and milled into superfine flour. Oh, absolutely. Crepes almost always include eggs. They're one of those amazing ingredients that holds everything together and gives crepes their soft, flexible texture. With the simple science, the proteins in eggs help the batter bind, while the yolks add richness. It ends up being the most delicious breakfast ever. Those industries also have amazing machines that can crack, separate, and measure the eggs at lightning speed. If you only use yolks, your crepes would be richer but a bit heavy. And if you used just whites, they'd be lighter but lack that signature creamy texture. So when in doubt, crack the whole egg. Once the carefully sourced ingredients arrive at the factory, it's time for them to meet and mingle in the batter preparation stage. There are two typical methods to make crepes in any factory, one of which is a cylindrical stove to pick the right amount of batter. Spread it in perfectly round shape and pass it along to the massive, flat griddle plates heated to the perfect temperature. For larger scale operations, conveyor belts carry the partially cooked crepe to a second griddle where it cooks on the other side for around 15 to 20 seconds. The other method looks like this, the typical batter dispenser. Crepe day, or la chandeleur as they call it in France, is such a charming tradition, only if I said it right. It's celebrated every February 2nd and has roots that go way back. While it has religious origins tied to the presentation of Jesus at the temple, it's become more widely known and loved as Crepe Day in modern times. If you wondered, the type of wheat you use for crepes makes a huge difference. Let's start with regular wheat. This is the most common choice for sweet crepes, as it has a mild flavor, letting the sweetness of your toppings shine. Now comes buckwheat, which is a whole different vibe. It's gluten-free and darker and has a nuttier, earthier flavor. It's more commonly used in savory crepes, like galettes from Brittany, France. With the crepes perfectly cooked and cooled, it's time for filling and stacking. With the crepes folded, filled, or stacked, it's time for the big finish, packaging and freezing. Hey, you smart people! Enjoying the video? Show us some love by hitting the like button and saving this video so it stays right there in your list to watch again later. Check out those big buddies conveniently handling the most back-breaking task. The workers who belong there must be grateful for sure. Waffles are one of those snacks that have a simple yet magical appeal. Now, think about enjoying a crispy waffle from a factory line, the kind that's perfectly crisped, golden brown, and ready to be devoured in just a few minutes. It seems tempting, isn't it? Waffles are made with a process called flash baking. This involves a quick heat blast, which crisps up the outside of the waffles in seconds, ensuring they stay crunchy longer and have a crispier texture when you bite into them. After baking, the waffles are carefully cooled to maintain their crispy texture. It's important to prevent moisture from making the waffles soggy. When you see those perfectly cut cubes, coated in glossy chocolate and wrapped up neatly, have you ever wondered how they're made in factories? The chocolate dropping system is where each cube is guided under a controlled chocolate flow, sometimes called a chocolate curtain. This silky cascade of melted chocolate ensures every cube gets an even coating. Whether you're enjoying them with cheese, spreads, or just on their own, there's something deeply satisfying about those crackers, specifically their crunch and lightness. Some crackers are perforated with tiny holes, which isn't just for decoration, obvious. Those holes, called docking holes, help prevent air bubbles from forming during baking. These cookies are somehow a cultural icon in South Korea and beyond. Known for their wholesome, lightly sweet taste and satisfying crunch, these cookies have become a go-to treat for generations. Speaking of cultural impact, digit cookies have become a staple in lunchboxes and tea times across South Korea. I don't want to put an end to this amazing video so soon, so you watch this luscious chocolate coating scene while we move to the next part of our video.
You might have eaten all the banana chips, so let's start the process from scratch, where these expert farmers are taking immense care of banana trees. He is removing the dried flowing part to improve air circulation and sunlight penetration, and you all know it's the key step. You might be thinking, why bags? This blue bagging around reduces the need for chemical pesticides, promoting a more organic approach to pest management, and controls the consistent temperature and humidity levels. When the desired thickness for green bananas is achieved, they start separating the banana fingers bunch using sharp knives, and then the cut is made a few inches above the first hand, ensuring all banana hands are harvested together. They use this DIY transporting wire system to conveniently carry and transport the entire harvested bananas all at once and safely towards the main units. This way, they protect the bananas from all the potential damages, including bruises. Bananas grow best in warm temperatures, and India is the largest producer of bananas. It produces around 30 million bananas per year. Once these bananas reach the facility, they prepare the stage for cleaning and washing these bananas. For this purpose, they set a delicate yet required amount of water pressure to clean the banana without damaging them. Let's take a quality test first. These approved bananas have arrived for thorough cleaning. Neatly cutting those banana hands by using sharp knives, this process is mainly done manually with great precision. Also, to extend the shelf life and maintain the quality of the bananas throughout the processing, they are pre-cooled to reduce their temperature quickly. This step slows down the ripening process and helps in maintaining firmness. Pre-cooling is typically done in large pools of cold and fresh water. Only the bananas that meet the strict criteria for size, shape, and firmness are selected for chip production. Sorting is often done by hand to ensure the consistent quality. These hard workers inspect, choose, and collect the approved bananas in bins to prepare them and transport them for further processing. They need to only select the right sized and green bananas because they are going to transport them, and fruits like these will not go ruined on a long trip. Besides, they will be fully ripe on arrival, and we will show you that too, so stay for a while. Here comes slapping those bananas with love, not really, with company labels and declaring them as ready to make your mouth-watering, irresistible chips. As we have told you before, bulk banana farming is possible only in hot areas, so they are going to hit a long trip, so that disinfectant spray is a must. Sit back and wait a moment, because the journey has just begun. You're going to witness the real chip production ahead. This is no mediocre banana production factory. They need to handle and transport thousands and sometimes millions tons of bananas. In addition to producing banana chips, the factory also exports fresh bananas. Using the same rigorous selection process, only the best bananas are chosen and carefully packed to maintain their quality during transport. We arrive at the factory to make banana pulp. The process starts with receiving crates of fresh, ripe bananas. Fresh bananas have a short shelf life, and can quickly become overripe, but processing them into pulp helps extend their usability. The smooth, creamy texture of banana pulp makes it an ideal ingredient for smoothies, baby food, and baked goods, adding natural sweetness and nutritional value without the need for artificial additives. In the banana chips production process, it all begins with selecting the perfect green bananas. Green bananas are preferred because they are firmer and less sweet than ripe ones, making them ideal for slicing and frying. This is the banana slicer that transforms raw bananas into uniform slices of consistent thickness. Talking about thickness, it must be around 3 millimeters thick to get the perfect crisp. And here the frying begins. This super satisfying industrial fryer is going to produce the crispy golden brown chips. This machine features a conveyor belt system that carries the fried banana chips out of the fryer to ensure the even frying. As soon as they add the finishing touch to the banana chips by applying flavorings or several seasonings, they are sent for final packaging. Banana chips provide a tasty and convenient snack that's rich in potassium and dietary fiber. Using these multi-head weighing machines is a way more efficient and quick way of packaging the right amount of banana chips every time in every packet. Eating bananas may help improve mood and reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. Additionally, the vitamin B6 in bananas plays a role in neurotransmitter synthesis.
I bet you want to hear the amazing journey those spaghetti-like glittery eels make every time to maintain the life cycle. So stay tuned. We're going to show you that, and don't get emotional. It's their usual life cycle. It's meant to be that way. Eels usually travel thousands of miles from rivers and lakes to the ocean to lay their eggs. They swim to places like the Sargasso Sea, guided by nature. This area provides the perfect conditions for the development of their delicate larvae. And it turns out eels must travel to the ocean to spawn because that's how their species has evolved over millions of years. Their life cycle depends on a specific environment for reproduction, and freshwater rivers or lakes aren't suitable for this process. And with this act of spawning, the eel's life cycle reaches its end. After depositing their eggs into the warm Atlantic waters, the eels die, silent, unseen, and far from the places they once called home. But from these eggs, new transparent eels will be born. They grow and mature in freshwater or coastal environments, but they return to the ocean only once to spawn and die. These young eels are collected and brought to farms to grow in ponds, tanks, or controlled environments. The goal is to fatten them up until they reach market size. Farmers drop into the task of making their food that's rich in nutrients. They prepare a cakey mixture with dough-like consistency. Its small portions are placed in feeding trays or directly in the water, where the eels eagerly eat for their healthy growth. Okay, that cakey mixture is necessary. As you can see, eels have such a little mouth, so it helps to chew the dough with their tiny mouths, and it helps not to dissolve in water too quickly, so more of the feed remains available for the eels to eat. Okay, about that, where that transparency has gone. So baby eels are transparent, almost completely see-through, resembling tiny ribbons in the ocean. This transparency helps them avoid predators, making it harder to be seen in the water. As they grow, they gradually develop more color and shape. Each year, the global eel market produces around 300,000 to 350,000 tons of eels. Japan alone consumes about 70% of this. Usually they're placed in cold water or chilled to make them unconscious. The water is circulated continuously to help remove any contaminants. Now that the eels are ready, so they process them a little further for consumption. And being my true audience, you must know, where do I start? That's right, washing. Farmers slice the eels in half, just like they do with fish. The pieces are placed in this special style on conveyor belts with the skin side facing up. The conveyor belt moves the eel slices steadily into the ovens, where they are exposed to controlled heat. As the eel slices move through the heaters on the conveyor belt, the applied heat softens the skin, making it easier to remove. As soon as the eel slices exit the heater, specialized workers along with some basic tools gently peel the softened skin away from the flesh. Frying eels is a much exciting step that adds amazing flavor. After the eels are prepared, they go into large frying machines filled with hot oil at just the right temperature. What happens next? The hot oil cooks the eels quickly, making the outside crispy while keeping the inside tender and juicy. Oh, that tasty smell filling the air as the eels cook and turn golden brown. This process not only makes them look great, but also boosts their flavor. After frying, the eels move through blowers that use strong air currents to remove any excess oil and moisture. And here they're ready enough to get consumed. Wasn't that fascinating? Hey, do you ever accidentally squeezed a mustard bottle too hard and ended up with a yellow explosion? Okay, that's a universal problem. But why does it happen to all of us? In 1922, when archaeologists unsealed King Tutankhamun's tomb, they found something unexpected nestled among the precious gems and gold. Mustard seeds. Well, I didn't see that coming. Ancient Egyptians didn't just use mustard as a spice. They considered it medicine, believing it could cure everything from toothaches to even snake bites. Those same seeds found in Tut's tomb could still sprout if planted today, I'm sure of it. But the question is, are the mustard seeds growing these days as impressive as the old times? Let's find out. Okay, that doesn't mean growing mustard is simple as well. Farmers face what they call the golden window, which is a critical 48-hour period when the seeds must be harvested. This precise timing has been passed down through generations of farming families, each adding their own knowledge to centuries-old wisdom. Mustard is a cool season crop, meaning it hates extreme heat. If the weather's too warm, the plant will bolt, rushing to flower and seed before it fully matures, leading to weak yields. That's why most farmers plant mustard either in early spring or just before fall, depending on the climate. You know these plants are incredibly tough. They can survive drought, poor soil, and even frost. Holding water in the final weeks boosts the concentration of spicy compounds in the seeds, making the final mustard sauce even stronger. These harvesting machines have giant rotating reels that gently pull the plants in, while built-in threshers crush the dry pods, shaking out the mustard seeds inside. The plant debris, stems, leaves, and empty husks gets tossed back onto the field as natural compost. Most people don't like the bitter taste of mustard sauce, but unpopular opinion, it's still better than ketchup, dude. As soon as the seeds pass the initial inspection, they enter a cleaning process that would literally amaze you. Through a series of specialized screens and air channels, everything from tiny stones to stray wheat kernels gets separated from these precious mustard seeds. As I told you earlier, they don't rely on one type of mustard seed. They carefully blend yellow and black mustard seeds to get the right balance of flavor, texture, and spice. But why mix them at all? Why not just use yellow mustard seeds alone? The answer lies in the science of mustard's heat. Yellow mustard seeds are the mildest of the three main types: yellow, brown, and black, while black mustard seeds contain more of the compounds that create heat. When crushed and mixed with liquid, they release a compound, the same one that makes wasabi feel like they're clearing your sinuses. At this point, the mustard is smooth, flavorful, and fully mixed. But before it reaches your sandwich, it needs to be bottled. Well, obvious. The mustard is pumped into massive stainless steel storage tanks. But the real challenge is getting all that mustard into bottles, jars, and tiny packets without making a complete mess. Unlike the classic squeeze bottle or glass jar, mustard tubes are a niche but highly practical way of storing mustard. Unlike bottles, which are filled from the top, mustard tubes require a reverse filling process. And if air bubbles get inside, then dude, they could cause the mustard to squirt out too aggressively when squeezed.